The Grand Circuit continued last night at Bankstown, a $180,000 race. Harness racing has big races over a period of about 6 months, I guess. Neil Donnelly, as we welcome you. Haven't seen you for a while, Neil.
Yeah,
How
nice to be back, Macca. Very well, thank you. Yeah, the Grand Circuit runs from mid-October when the Queensland Championship starts and runs right through until the Inter-Dominion, which this year is in Perth. And there's now, and of course, includes the New Zealand races, New Zealand Cup, the Auckland Cup. In fact, this year is very different because with the reconstruction of Harold Park in Sydney, the Miracle Mile wasn't run.
What happens to that?
It's being run in June next year. In fact, there will be two run in 1996, June and November.
There was some drama last night before the race in Bankstown. Fill us in. Jack Morris didn't start. Why?
There was a problem with Jack Morris early in the day. He has a continuing complaint of muscle tying up. His muscles tie up. And Andrew Peace, who now trains the horse, of course, in his comeback bid, he works him twice a day to overcome that. And in between, he puts him out in a big lush paddock at his home in Whittlesea. Yet when he went to Sydney, of course, there's no green paddock. And the green grass actually counteracts whatever the problem is in their body. It's an acid problem. Went to Sydney, couldn't do that, and he's one of his shoulders tied up very badly, and he couldn't start him. But it's the first news we got from Sydney on Friday night and Saturday morning was that the horse wouldn't race again, but that's not true. He's okay.
It was ironic because this is the first Grand Circuit race he won in 1992, the Treuer Memorial. And the other big news was surrounding Sunshine Band, the favourite and eventual winner.
Had a problem getting to the track. Yeah, he injured a shoulder also going to the track, and there was actually some conjecture whether he'd run or not. His trainer Alison Smith was quite happy with what happened on the track, but it obviously affected him on the track. Bruce, as when we do watch the tape, we'll see he hung very badly, and was quite. I haven't seen him do this before. In fact, when he won at Albion Park, when he won the Queensland Championship, he was like a greyhound. He railed all the way, and he did the same in Tassie too for the big Tassie Championship down there. But last night, he led and hung all the way. You can see he's off the fence here now even too with a little less than 2 laps to run. And the Victorian newsbreaker has just run up along his outside here. And there's not too much change here. The real action starts when they head down the back a lap from now, when he sees him start to hang right off the track. It's quite remarkable. In fact, we're still a lap and a half from home here, and you'll see that the leader is running away from the rail. But it's really accentuated in the next lap. In fact, I haven't seen it happen for a long, long time. In fact, the last time I did see it happen was Bag Limit in the Christchurch India in '87, and he finished up on the outside fence in 2 heats.
Were you surprised there wasn't a protest?
Staggered.
You were surprised?
Very, and most people at Moonee Valley, where I was last night watching the race, we couldn't believe that Graham Morgan, who drove Newsbreaker, didn't protest. I guess from about the 600 metres right to the winning post. As when we watched, you'll see in the last lap that it's quite extreme just how far out this horse runs off. And don't forget that Treuer has been famous for producing a controversy. A couple of years ago, we saw the now famous race Franco Tiger and Master Musician, where there was a protest that night. It was dismissed, and 2 years later went through the courts, of course, and was reversed. Now here come the moves, and we might even get a head-on shot here, and you'll actually see just how far out this horse runs.
The young Mr. Charles has taken off. Now here he goes. He's getting out towards the middle of the track, Sunshine Band, and taking Newsbreaker wider, and young Mr. Charles wider still, isn't he?
Yeah.
Plenty of room for an Eden Supreme who couldn't go through.
Just wasn't good enough. In fact, he goes roughly there. He doesn't really handle tight tracks, I'm sure. They did the same at Kilmore too a couple of months ago. He comes back, almost back to the rail here, turning for home, and then up the straight with Chris Gleeson driving very... see, he's probably 2 off the fence now.
See, Chris is almost horizontal, isn't he, here?
Yeah, trying to keep him out. And I don't think, if there had been a protest, I don't think it would have been upheld, but if I'd been the owner, I would have wanted to know. I would have wanted to find out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He's a very special horse, this winner. He's won the only 3 races in Australia on the Grand Circuit this year, and has virtually dominated, and he's come from nowhere.
Yes, he won in Queensland and then went to Tassie and won. Not quite in the same class as a Golden Rain or maybe a Jack Morris. Certainly not a Jack Morris at his best, but he's leading the points at the moment. Do you think he can go on and be an Inter-Dominion horse? Yeah,
no doubt. He seems very tough. He's given us the impression from what we've seen him do in the last 6 or 8 weeks that he has the speed and the strength to mix it with the very best. It's sad there's no Golden Rain this year. He was clearly our best last year.
And one of the best for a long time.
Yeah.
Where's he come from, Sunshine Band? I don't know a lot about him. I mean, I can't remember him as a young horse.
That's a very good question. I don't think I can tell you too much. He's virtually come from obscurity. 6 months ago, he was unheard of. He was running out in restricted grade races in Queensland. Alison Smith is an unknown trainer. She's done a great job with the horse, and since she's teamed up with Chris Gleeson too, there's been a great connection there, and the horse has just He was a surprise when he won the Queensland Championship, but he's been no surprise since in Tassie and again last night.
Well, one horse who has a great pedigree is a young horse, Ilva Colo. He won the New Zealand Cup a couple of weeks ago. This race is probably, I think, the most famous race in harness away from the Inter-Dominion, with the Miracle Mile with it. I mean, it's quite the opposite, isn't it, to the Miracle Mile? It's the 2-mile race at the big track. Ilva Colo is a 4-year-old. He's working outside the leader. Master Musician is 3 wide. Blossom Lady's back in the field. You raved about this horse last year. He's practically unbeaten now, Ilva Colo, and he could be one of the greats of all time.
He's certainly shaping that way. He's won more than $1 million already. He'd won $700,000 as a 2- and 3-year-old, can you believe? He's only a 4-year-old. This is only about his 15th or 16th race start, and here he is 3 wide to the breeze in what is arguably the toughest race anywhere in the world.
I think it's the truest harness race with the Inter-Dominion final we had,
no doubt, yes. And he sat outside them for the last, or virtually the last mile. And
there's
was
Blossom Lady trying to go. You can see her 2 from the outside, making her run. Master Musician hangs on very well. Ilva Colo, as you said, Neil, had done a lot of work. He just hangs on the line, but he's gone on since then and won the free-for-all, hasn't he?
He won the New Zealand free-for-all, which was run on the Friday of this week, and was quite brilliant doing that. Now, Master Musician, the old fella, he was an 8-year-old now. You'll see him start to feel his old legs halfway up the straight, but he was 3 wide the last 1.5 miles. Ilva Colo dashes away, which he wasn't really entitled to do, and a roughie called Just Royce flashes through along the inside. This is a long, hard, tough straight, as we saw during the Inter earlier this year. They can get very tired. He just held on and won. But he's a very special horse. And we're going to see him in Melbourne for the... He's coming here for the Victoria Cup, which is something to look forward to.
Hunter Cup, isn't it? Is it the Hunter or the Victoria?
No, he'll miss the Hunter. He'll come here for the Victoria Cup, and then he'll run in a special 4-year-old mile race has been put on the calendar during the summer carnival. There, $50,000 race, he'll run in that too.
During the Grand Prix, I think, isn't it?
Yes,
which leads into the big 4-year-old race in Sydney, the Chariots of Fire.
The Chariots of Fire. In fact, it is called the Grand Prix. It's run that weekend.
And he's not going to run in the Inter-Dominion, is he?
No, he's not going to Perth. They're going to wait till the following year.
He looks to be the super horse. Hey, Neil, great to catch up with you again.
Pleasure to be back.
And good harness racing over the new year.
Thanks, mate.
There'll be some great races.
There will too.
Plays of the month coming up. We're going to have a laugh right after this.